When I first went to prison in Virginia in the early 2000s, we wanted to watch TV. We could sit in a pod, which was a common area. We watched the one common TV. But as you can imagine, this led to a fair number of problems because there were a lot of people trying to watch a lot of different things and only one TV. But we were lucky enough to have money, we could buy a personal TV. So $50 would buy your personal 5-inch black and white TV. $200 would buy you a personal 5-inch color TV. And the black and white TV was kind of big and bulky and it had a handle and you had to pick it up. But the color TV was a flat screen. I've had people be like, man, my phone is bigger than that. And I'm like, I know, trust me, it was not a big TV. And the thing that was good, but the thing that was also bad was you could literally just like stick it in your pocket or slide it down your pants. So a lot of times those TVs got stolen. When we came back from chow one time, this guy went in his cell, he came out, he was like, yo, who the F took my TV? He was raising hell, he knew his TV had been stolen. This guy walked up to him, he was like, yo, man, I was in here, that's the guy who took it. Pointed him towards somebody, he ran over there, he took a swing on that guy, and he got the dog crap beaten out of him. Like, the guy saw him coming, and the guy knew how to fight, and basically the guy who had his TV stolen did not get a good look in. The other guy knocked him unconscious and was on top of him, basically beating him, because the guy was like, bro, dude just attacked me. The officers came in with the dog. We had canines there that were often used as like attack dogs or used to menace us. They let the dog loose, and he did not attack the guy on top who was beating the unconscious man. Instead, he attacked the guy on bottom who was unconscious, grabbed him by the leg, tore his pants and his leg to shreds, and just started dragging him around the pod. Apparently, I was told the dogs were trained to attack the person on the bottom because generally you'd have officers on top restraining them, so they were trained to think that that was the bad guy. But in this case, a guy not only got his TV stolen, but he also got his leg torn up by the dog after getting knocked out by a guy who it turns out had not stolen his TV. Because the guy who walked up to him when he was raising hell and was like, hey, that's the guy who stole your TV, is actually the guy who stole his TV. Now, thankfully, there were a couple of old heads in the pod who figured out what was going on. They went to that guy, the one who had instigated the whole thing, who had stolen it and pointed him in the wrong direction. They were like, bro, you're going to give up the TV or you're going to basically pay. Like, you can imagine what that means. He gave the TV back. They managed to stick it in his stuff as he was going to the hole. So the guy went back to the hole, basically having gotten the crap beat out of him. He had to go to medical first to get his leg bandaged up. When he finally got out, he was like, wait, my TV, I don't understand. They had sent him word and said, hey, we made this right for you. But the guy who had done the whole thing, the guy who had stolen the TV, because nobody likes a thief in prison. I know that sounds strange, but it's one thing to take something, it's another thing to sneak in and steal it, and especially to point somebody in the wrong direction and cause problems with another guy who really was not a bad guy, who didn't do anything, who was only defending himself and ended up getting charged with a serious assault because he beat the guy unconscious because he was, again, just defending himself. But the point being, those TVs got stolen a fair amount. After a couple years, they could no longer source them. They started getting 7-inch TVs, and then finally they got 13-inch TVs. And the first ones were the big clear bubble TVs. They look like old school, like you were definitely not sticking that in your pants and walking out with it. Like it is giant. You're carrying it with both arms when you're carrying it. And those were a lot harder to steal. Then they started with 13-inch flat screen TVs, and those did get stolen some, but eventually got to the point where they were saturated with enough TVs, it wasn't new enough. So people had either gotten one or had gotten one from somebody else or saved money at work or gotten money from home or whatever. So we started having fewer thefts because they were no longer rare. Pretty much everybody could get a TV if they really needed one.